On January 27, 1967, 3 American astronauts die in a launchpad fire. But what caused this tragic incident? And how did it impact America's effort to land on the moon? In 1961, JFK first declared his goal of landing men on the moon and returning them safely to Earth by the end of the decade. The resulting Apollo program was the largest scientific and technological undertaking in history. On January 27, 1967, 3 Apollo astronauts, Gus Grissom, Ed White, and Roger Chaffee, were participating in a simulation for the program's first manned launch, which was scheduled for the following month. Grissom was one of the original Mercury 7 astronauts. Incidentally, he had been privately told that in the future, he would likely command the first mission to land on the moon. During that routine launchpad test, a fire suddenly swept through the command module, killing the trapped astronauts. An extensive investigation followed. It determined that a faulty electrical wire had sparked the fire. In the pressurized, high-oxygen environment inside the capsule, the astronauts had no chance of escape. Congressional hearings were held that put the entire program in limbo. All manned flights were grounded for more than a year. Improvements were subsequently made to both the spacecraft and to the protocols, making future missions safer. To honor Grissom, White, and Chaffee, the 1967 launchpad fire was still given the name Apollo 1. More than 18 months after Apollo 1, Apollo 7 took the first Apollo crew into space on October 11, 1968. 2.5 years after Apollo 1, Apollo 11 landed the first humans on the moon as Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin made that giant leap for mankind. It is interesting to think about how history could have been different. If not for the Apollo 1 tragedy, Gus Grissom would likely have been the first man on the moon instead of Neil Armstrong. If you want to learn more about Apollo 1 and the other missions of the Apollo program, I highly recommend the HBO miniseries From the Earth to the Moon from 1998. It is a 12-part historical drama made by Ron Howard and Tom Hanks. 2 years earlier, Howard and Hanks had made the film Apollo 13, one of my all-time favorite movies. Here are other events that happened today in history. In 1823, the U.S. recognizes Argentina, which had declared independence from Spain 6 years earlier. In 1944, the Soviets end the 872-day German siege of Leningrad, which cost 1 million civilian lives. In 1945, Soviet troops liberate Auschwitz, the largest Nazi death camp, where 1 million were murdered. In 1956, 21-year-old Elvis Presley releases the single Heartbreak Hotel, which becomes his first #1 hit. In 1973, the Paris Peace Accords end 8 years of official U.S. involvement in the Vietnam War. In 1984, during the filming of a Pepsi ad, pyrotechnics set pop star Michael Jackson's hair on fire. In 2020, the CDC urges Americans to avoid all non-essential travel to China due to the COVID outbreak. And now, it's time for our Today in History quiz. When was the Space Shuttle Challenger disaster? 1986, 1987, 1988, or 1989? Liked learning about the Apollo 1 tragedy? Then you'll enjoy this one about the final mission to the moon, Apollo 17. Tap the screen to keep the story going on Today in History.